Major combat operations in Iraq have ended. In the Battle of Iraq, the United States and our allies have prevailed.
On 1st of May 2003, the US president at the time, George W. Bush, declared mission accomplished. In fact, it was anything but. There was food, fuel and electricity shortages. Hundreds of thousands of Ba'ath Party members in the army, police and government lost their jobs. The new coalition provisional authority, headed by Paul Bremer, disbanded the Iraqi army 12 days after Bush's statement. Influential, well-armed Iraqis were alienated, and thousands began to oppose the US-led occupation.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
In December 2003, near his ancestral home in Tikrit, Saddam Hussein was discovered in a hole in the ground. But the slide into violence had already started. A suicide attack, the first of the insurgency, targeted the UN headquarters in Baghdad and killed the envoy, Sergio Vieira de Mello. It became apparent there wasn't a carefully prepared governance plan. Even worse was the abuse of power. One of the most disturbing examples was in Abu Ghraib prison. Photographs were published as evidence of prisoners being tortured by US soldiers. Despite handing over sovereignty to the interim government of Iyad Allawi, military operations continued to ramp up against the growing insurgency, particularly in Fallujah, one of Iraq's largest cities. It was all set off after the charred remains of 4 American contractors killed in the city were hung on a bridge across the Euphrates. Much of the city was destroyed as US Marines fought to retake control as they tried to root out the fighters. As violence intensified, there was one moment of respite for many Iraqis: Saddam Hussein's trial and execution. Elsewhere in Iraq, US forces lost 4,500 troops. To beef up security in Baghdad, President Bush promised a surge of 30,000 extra troops in December 2007, and yet the civilian death toll continued to rise. Tens of thousands of Iraqis died. By December 2011, the last convoy of US troops drove south to Kuwait. At the height of the fighting, 170,000 soldiers served in Iraq. They left as the country still grappled with political uncertainty. Last year, Iraq still had more terrorist attacks than any other country in the world. And though the invasion was billed as part of the so-called war on terror, it was that invasion that led to the formation of terrorist groups like Daesh, whose death and suffering legacy lives on today. Iolo Dafydd, TRT World.